Om. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We were looking at, or we are looking at, the undifferentiated knowledge, ज्ञान अज्ञान भेद रहित, beyond knowledge and ignorance. What is beyond knowledge and ignorance? The Paramatma, the Brahman, the Atman. If that is the case, why are we feeling we are the body? Why are we feeling we were born? Why are we feeling that we are in this world? It's your problem. You sort it out. You are feeling it. If you have a problem, you have to sort it. Who else can sort it for you? Scriptures can only guide, teachers can only guide, but how you process that within yourself and come to understand, come to correct understanding, which is what our intention is, that you must come to correct understanding. The seeker must come to correct understanding that he is beyond everything, and yet he is in and through everything. But his obsession of knowing everything in the world objectively, like I see you, and I say you are so and so. I see the camera, I say this is a camera. This habit of objectification in the seeker leads him to believe that he can experience the Atma, he can experience the divine also objectively. Divine meaning the pure consciousness, divine meaning the infinite reality. Infinity cannot be experienced objectively. Now, this is the conundrum, this is the crossroads we are at. The tools we have are experiential. Eyes want to see, ears want to hear, tongue wants to taste, mind wants to think. But this reality is not within the purview of these limited experiences. It does not fall into that. But these experiences at the equipment level, they cannot happen without that reality. We are talking about ourselves. Without that reality, thoughts cannot come. Without that reality, mind cannot come. Without that reality, intellect cannot be there. Without that reality, breath cannot be there. Without that reality, the body cannot be there. Without that reality, the whole creation cannot be there. But the creation cannot come to know the reality. See? Why? Creation cannot come to know the reality. Because how can something finite, creation is finite, everything in the creation is finite. What you call as creation is, at this moment, it's your waking day. Waking day began maybe 1.5 or 2 hours ago. You got up from the sleep and your waking began, and it will conclude at night. So it began and it will end. So is this the only creation? This today's creation, this day, this waking has a beginning and end, dream has a beginning and end, sleep has a beginning and end. So this limited creation, this finite creation, and everything included in this creation is also finite only. The book is finite, the words are finite, the experiences are finite, knowledge that we are having is also finite, our breath is finite, our thoughts are finite, our convictions are finite, our beliefs are also finite. But we can go beyond. We can think. We have to. So, before I tell that, so this finite cannot be without the infinite. But this finite can never come to know the infinite. Then what is to be done? If someone gives you food, what do you say? In general terms, thank you. Yesterday I went to Nagaraj's place. Thank you, Swamiji, it was very nice. Someone gives me money. Thank you. Someone gives me their time. Thank you. True or not? If someone refers me to a job, thank you. And this is more prevalent in the Western world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. India में कोई thank you बोल के राजी नहीं है. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But it is good. Okay, बोलते हैं. But have we ever thanked in the worldly sense? Someone remembers you and calls you, you feel so good. Someone helps you with a job, you feel so good, and that's why you say thank you. Because you and man is always looking up, wanting to look up to someone. He always is fascinated by someone more powerful, someone more wealthy, someone more knowledgeable, someone more calm, cool, collected. Something that he doesn't have and someone else has. The human being gets attracted. He looks up to that person because he doesn't have that. And he also looks up at person who has given him everything or something. So when I went to the ashram, I studied with Swamiji, and gratitude. If someone gives me food, thank you. Thank you is an expression of gratitude, isn't it? But have we ever expressed the gratitude to the one who gave you this body, who gave you the intelligence, who gave you the correct, right emotions, who gave you the acumen to be a seeker, to seek Him? Someone gives you a gold necklace and that person is your best friend. Someone gives you a lottery, government is very good. Oh, government gives you $2,000 every month because of pandemic. You look up to the government. Someone gives you clothes. You show a lot of gratitude. Someone gives you lift, you show gratitude. But if someone gave you the necklace and you are so thankful to that person, but who gave you the neck? If someone gave you the earrings, who gave you the ear? If you are thankful for the knowledge that is coming to you, who gave you the mind? Did you create it? Did you create the thoughts? Did you create the life? And when this dawns, if we want to grow, if we want to get to that point of undifferentiated consciousness, yes, initial steps. Someone asked me, I was interviewed by Advaita Academy. It's there on the YouTube. I'll send you the link. And they said, what do you think is the role of bhakti in Vedanta? Bhakti is gratitude. Bhakti is devotion. Bhakti is it. You don't know what that state is. You don't know what that transcendental is. You don't know what undifferentiated consciousness is objectively, because mind can never come to know. And yet you are contemplating on it, yet you are meditating on it, yet mind can never come to know. But yet there is a sense that, yeah, man, I know mind can never come to know what life is, but I am alive. What is this aliveness? If mind tries to work it out, mind vanishes. If senses try to work it out, sense vanish. If intellect tries to come to a conviction, intellect also vanishes. It's the unshakable principle. Whether you call it Atma, whether you call it reality, whether you call it infinite consciousness, whether you call it God. If we go around in the world showing our gratitude to people who have done something for us, isn't it right that we show our gratitude to that infinite reality, to that God, to that divinity, and say thank you, remember Him? If someone gives me a necklace or a gold watch, I will remember that person all my life. But this reality, which is itself expressing as the body, as the mind, as the breath, as the senses, as your intelligence, as your everything, you don't have an existence apart from that reality. Doesn't that demand, or doesn't that require, doesn't that reality, the reality does not require anything, but is it not beneficial, or is it not our requirement that we remember that reality, because of whom we are able to even function? You are doing that in the world, But with reality, you don't do it. With Lord, you don't do it. You only do it when, when some trouble comes. We remember the reality only in the morning, light a lamp, and evening, light a lamp, or that's it. According to our convenience. When this dawns in the seeker, gratitude melts everything. And see, when we remember, what happens? When we remember Ram, or when we remember Krishna, or when we remember Shiva, or when we remember Devi, everyone wants to remember someone. You are remembering your parents. No, I must do my duty to my parents. Oh, I must do my duty towards my children. I must duty. The employee says I must do the right thing with my employer. But who gave you your life? Are you doing what is required to be done for him? Are you doing your duty towards him? How many times do we remember him? If we remember him, then our journey will begin. Why we are having obstacles in our journey? Because we are not remembering him, we are remembering the world. We are remembering, the more we remember the finite, the more confusion and doubt will be there within us. The more we remember the infinite, the divine, the Atman, the Lord, whichever way, whatever suits, to that extent, the quality of that one whom we are remembering. And what is his quality? He is Satchidananda. He is Ananda Swarup. Automatically, those qualities will become yours. A very simple example that came in our last class in Amrit Anubhav was, when we go to sleep, we don't know what sleep is. A sleep is nothingness. Sleep is zero. Sleep is absence of all manifestation. And absence is not an object of cognition. Object is a object. You can see an object, but you cannot see absence. Then what is absence? Non-availability of objects is absence, isn't it? Yet, every night we think of the sleep. And where do we get to? We get the bliss in sleep. Because all the finites have gone out of our mind. Same way. Yes, we do not know who this divine is, what this divine is, where this divine is. Scriptures are saying you are that. But approach it with faith, approach it with gratitude, because without it you won't be who you are. And constant recognition of this automatically jumpstarts your spiritual journey. See? This is the only way by which we can go beyond all obstacles in our life, whether they are at the worldly level or they are at the spiritual level. But if a seeker thinks that I can remove my obstacles, he is knocking on the wrong door. It is only by grace. It is only by the remembrance of the grace. How do you remember the grace? By gratitude. Then these obstacles, and where obstacles are completely removed. What are the obstacles? If we go to the root of all obstacles, aham vritti, idam vritti. See how I have brought the whole thing back to that point. Aham vritti, idam vritti. The stop identification, that is the obstacle. We cannot stop the thoughts from coming, but we can stop the identification of ourselves with the thoughts. And to get that strength, we have to use, instead of thinking about the finite idam, we have to think of through the idam, instead of using the idam, meaning thoughts, to think of the world, we want to use the thoughts to think of the infinite with gratitude and faith. Just as we do it when we go to sleep. And see, no one can stop you from being that undifferentiated consciousness. So let's sit and contemplate and show our gratitude and love and our surrender and our availability to that infinite being who is throbbing as life within us, without wanting anything in this world. We are not remembering Him because we want something in this world. No, we want Him and Him alone. Keeping your back, neck and head in a straight line, eyes closed, a happy disposition, a smile on your lips, fingers interlocked or in your Jnana Mudra position,